ako ititira sa'yo. You're exactly like me. May araw din kayo.
Kathryn, we were talking a little bit about the overwhelming feeling of the premiere last night, just like having the Filipino community come in.
Yes.
But post-screening, now that you've gotten like reactions from this American audience, how are you feeling now?
I am just really, I'm still overwhelmed actually. You know, after the screening yesterday, and then we went to the after party. Miss D, she introduced me to everybody. Everyone was very supportive. It's just, I'm just really happy to experience all this. And yeah, they were very kind, and especially to the non-Filipino fans as well. You know, I appreciate them so much because they enjoyed the movie as well, with the subtitles and all. So yeah, it's great to see, our films, being watched by foreign people. So yeah, it means a lot to me.
Yeah. Dolly, to add to that, I'm wondering, was there a difference in energy from like the SM Mega Mall premiere versus the one from last night?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's super different, really different. The SM Mega Mall people I guess I'd say they're more passionate, they're wilder, they're crazy, they're kind of crazy in a good way. Here they're more grounded, but they're still also very warm. They just have different ways of showing it, but the same warmth, same amount of love.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about the visual language of this film because it's like, there's really interesting shots and really interesting lighting. But specifically like the color and the lighting. I want to know, like, with your characters and with the DP and with Petersen, how much conversation did you have about that visual language that's happening with the color lighting, with the shifts in tone?
He would just usually show us some pegs because a lot of the scenes were influenced by some films that he really, as a filmmaker, because he is a huge cinephile. So he's watched everything and he takes inspiration from things that he watches. So he usually shares the pegs with us so that we have an idea what the scenes are going to look like. But as far as color and all of that, I wasn't really privy to any of that with that kind of information. But it was really mostly about treatment.
Yeah.
From a technical aspect, though, it's like instead of just shooting a dialogue scene on a tripod, it's a lot of moving cameras. There's a lot of like what I would consider blocking and like cues to go off.
Yeah.
So was that a long day on set when you had those big color changes and lighting setups?
Yes, for sure. Our DOP is Noel Tehanki, so he did all the works, all the lighting and all, and it really helped us to get into the character once you go on the set to just feel the lighting and everything. But yeah, it took a lot of time.
It would take us 4 hours to shoot one scene.
One scene, yeah, or even more. And given the time, it's very limited, so we have to do like 3 to 4 scenes a day, which is not the usual.
No, it's not.
Not the usual. So yeah, it's a lot. And yeah, they were just very helpful, all the boys and everybody. We had to make sure that we can finish all the scheduled scenes to be on time. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think what's great about the way the film was made was the partnership between Noel Tehanki and Petersen Vargas. They had a really great way of working together.
Yes, they have the same vision.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're the perfect combination.
Yeah, and they complemented each other.
Yes.
Like if he had an idea, Noel would enhance it with his own idea and vice versa.
Yeah.
Perfect relationship, and it came out beautifully. I think it was shot super well.
Yeah.
I want to talk about both of your characters, but Dolly, let's start with Mother Molly. There's an idea that villains never, well, I wouldn't necessarily call her a villain, but generally in storytelling, villains don't see themselves as such, right?
No, they don't.
So I'm wondering, how did you interpret Molly to yourself when portraying her?
Because characters don't see themselves as villains, I didn't see her as a villain. I didn't treat her that way. I just treated her like a normal human being who had her own dark past, and she just had a way of dealing with her past, and she made a lot of bad choices in the present because of how her past influenced her. So I never really treated her like she was an enemy. I saw her as an ally, and I think that I kind of fell in love with Molly Suzara. It took me a while to let go of her. And we had an intimacy coordinator, Missy Maramara, and she helped me unpack that and let go of her. Because, yeah, I mean, as actors, we can't really judge the characters that we play, or else they're not going to come out human. And the whole point of it is to share a story about human beings.
Beautiful. Now, in that vein, Mercy and Philo feel like two very different characters.
Yes.
It almost felt, like I was watching a completely different set of people. So when it came to developing that duality that you had to portray, what was important to you to make them distinct from each other?
Actually, I had a hard time getting to know Philo. Yeah, maybe because she's very far from my person. Actually, both of them. But then, yeah, I have to make similarities, but at the same time, we have to establish that they're two different people. So sometimes I'm gonna be Mercy, and then the next scene I'll be Philo. So it was hard. But then when I read the script and then I saw the two characters or two roles for this film, I fell in love with it because yes, it's gonna be challenging. It was a challenge doing the whole thing, but then seeing it after and people appreciating the characters, you won't hate the characters. You're gonna root for them because you understand them. So yeah, I just fell in love with Philo and same as Mercy. So yeah, I enjoyed doing both characters.
And
but
towards
it was
the
a challenge.
end, I loved how you merged them together.
Yeah, then you have to merge.
And it was so beautiful,
Yes,
the way
oh
you
my
merged
God.
them together.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah.
fourth wall, it helped a lot too. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna be portraying Philo now, and then I'll look at I'll look in the camera and be Mercy, and then back to Philo. Oh my God, it's crazy, but yeah, it was fun doing it.
You guys performed it beautifully. I thought you both had really strong performances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the characters were like really believable, even though there is a level of camp and comedy, right?
Yes.
And speaking of the comedy, there were some moments that were making me bust up laughing. And I have to ask, you have the line about being Shrek's fairy godmother.
Yeah.
That's your ad-lib, Miss D,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna ask how
Yeah.
much of that funny was on the page and how much of it did you bring on the set?
That actually wasn't on the page. That was my daughter. My daughter who would come to me on set to help me out, Lucia.
Lucia.
And she just told me, Mom, you look like Shrek's fairy godmother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, I don't. No, then I have to change. And then I realized, no, then we'll add it. So I asked P if I could, and he said, yeah, let's do it. So that's why the line's there.
To that end, I'm wondering how much of that, especially when you were talking, I think her name was Zab? And
Chino Phenomenon.
there's a lot of babe going around. I think at the
Yes.
after party, all of us were being like,
Yeah.
what's up, babe?
Hey,
Like, hey,
babe.
babe. I'm
Yeah.
wondering, was that also like a character choice or was that written on the page?
Actually, we discussed about it before our first scene together. So P asked Petersen. I call him P. He asked us. So how do you call each other nowadays, especially for the Gen Zs and all? So
Yeah.
usually love, babe, sis, fine, not anymore. Yeah.
No.
But then me and Chi, we both decided, okay, let's call each other babe. That's very sassy, very
Yeah.
perfect for the character. And yeah, up until now, sometimes I call her Chi Chi, hey babe, something like that. So yeah, I think it helped a lot to see the dynamics of Zab and Philo.
It's a generational thing in the Philippines. In Manila, all young people call each other babe.
Babe, yeah, actually. Yeah.
The sis is for the 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Now, let's wrap with this. There's a line about justice being expensive and that poor people just can't afford it, right? And I think it's a really interesting message. We've seen it kind of portrayed in films before, like Parasite, a little bit in Triangle of Sadness even, Why do you think that message is important to tell and will resonate with audiences everywhere?
I think it's important to tell because it needs to change. It's it's endemic in our society, not just ours. I'm sure it's all over the world. It's happening all over the world, and it needs to be told. If we can't fight the system, we should at least talk about it in films that we do, right?
Yeah.
Because art's supposed to imitate life, so we're just doing our job.